All right, guys, today we're going to talk about multiplying. Specifically, today in this video, we're going to do monomials by binomials or trinomials. So really just a monomial by something bigger, maybe even a polynomial, we'll see. And we're going to do that on 93 and 94. Then we'll talk about multiplying crazier stuff in the next one. So if we turn to 93 and 94, let's start on 94. So kind of like when we were dealing with exponents and our brains needed to sort of work on two different levels, because like when I was multiplying, I had to add, but then I also had to like multiply the big numbers. Same thing is kind of going on here. So when I am multiplying anything by anything, really, I need to make sure that I multiply the numbers or the coefficients and then add the exponents. So multiply big numbers, add exponents. So really, we're just looking at distributing, like we're taking one number and multiplying it by 2. And so when I do that, I need to multiply the big numbers, so 18. And then when I multiply here, I'm going to add the exponents, so x to the third. Then when I multiply here, we're going to have 6 times negative 4 for negative 24. And like this is x to the first times no x, so just x. Okay, working our way down. We are really just distributing, that's all. We just have to be careful that our brain is working on the two levels that it needs to be working on. So like the 2 times the 3 is 6. X times x is going to be 1 and 1, so 2. And then just a y squared plus the 2 times the 4 for 8. And then x times y is just going to be xy. Like there's one x and one y. And it kind of doesn't matter the order you put them in, but I always like to keep it alphabetical. On to the next. We are just distributing. So negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. And then when I do my x's, I need to add the exponents. So 4. Then negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. And then when I do the x's, I need to add, so 7. And then really I should rewrite that so that it's in standard form. I didn't leave myself enough space. I'm going to do it though. Negative 16x to the 7th plus 8x to the 4th, and then you're in standard form, which is much better. And then lastly, we're just distributing. And now in this one, we got to be real careful. So like there's no number to multiply the negative 3 by, so it's still just negative 3. But the x's, we're going to have 7 of those. And then for the y's, we're going to have 2 of those because there's one here, one there. Now similarly, when I think about the numbers, on the next one, it's going to stay negative 5. But the x's, we're going to add those exponents, so x to the 5th. And there's no y to add it with, so just y to the 1st. All right, we got just a whole bunch to practice with now. So let's do it. We're going to multiply. So 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. X times x squared is x to the 3rd. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. X times x is x squared. That's in standard form, and it's a cubic binomial, just for some extra practice. On this next one here, we're going to distribute. So 6 times 3 is 18. P times p squared, we're going to have 3 p's, and then just a single q. Then 6 times 4 is 24. There's no p to add it with, so it's going to stay p, but then q times q is q squared. This is in standard form, and it would be a quartic, because 4 is the biggest, binomial. Alrighty, on to the next. If I distribute, We're going to do 5 times 3 for 15, j times j for j squared, and k times k for k squared. Then we're going to do 5 times 2 for 10, so plus, and there's no j to combine it with, and then k squared. The leading coefficient is 15. On this one here, ooh, I have 3 numbers to distribute to. Look at that. How fun. So we're going to do half of 8 for 4, and x times x to the second is x to the third. Half times 1 is just half. X times x is x to the second. And then half of negative 7 is just going to be negative 7 over 2, or negative 7 halves. And then there's nothing to combine the x with, so it's just x. And again, my leading coefficient here would be 4. Alrighty, these last two are monster problems. We have to multiply and then combine like terms on both. So here I'm going to distribute the 6x. So we'll have 12x squared minus 18x. And then here, really what I'm distributing is the negative 5. So then I don't have to worry about like subtracting weirdness. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x squared. Negative 5 times the 9 is negative 45 with an x. And then negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. So then I should go through and combine like terms if I have them, and I do have some. And I want to start with the largest degree. So that's x squared. I have 12 here and negative 10 there for 2x squared. Then I go down a degree to x to the first, or just x. And I have negative 18 there and negative 45 of them there for a total of negative 63x. And then I just have the 15 and nobody to combine them with. And so there's my final answer. This is a quadratic because it's degree 2, trinomial because there are 3 terms with a leading coefficient of 2. Last but not least on this one, we got to distribute, and then combine like terms. So let's distribute there and then there. Ooh, 3 on that one, and then here. So negative 3 times 7 is negative 21, and then g times g is g squared. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6g. Then we're distributing a 3 now, so positive 3g squared, positive 6g plus 3. And then lastly, we're distributing a negative 3g. So negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15, so plus. And g times g is g squared. And then negative 3 times the 3 is negative 9 with a g. Alrighty. Now I'm looking through trying to find that highest degree. And the highest degree is 2. So I have negative 21, 3, and 15. Which that total, let's see, negative 21 and 15 is negative 6, and 3 is negative 3, g to the second. Then I'm looking for g's, and I got 6 there, and negative 9 there. So like 12 minus 9 is 3, positive, so plus 3g. And then just single numbers, and there's only that 3, nobody to combine them with. Oh my God, so many 3s. So final answer. And again, this was degree 2, so quadratic, trinomial, with a leading coefficient of negative 3. Now I think I actually want to skip the solving stuff. It's kind of fun. Maybe we'll come back to it later, but I'm going to skip it for now, and we'll jump over and do this super fun wheel. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to put a number in the wheel, and we're going to multiply all the outside numbers by the number in the wheel. So the number that I'm going to choose is x squared minus 4. So if I do 10 times this, we're going to get 10x squared minus 40. So like I'm just timesing 10 by both of these numbers. Now with this one, I'm doing x to the third times both of these. So really I'm just adding up exponents. So it's going to be x to the fifth minus 4x to the third because there was nobody to add it with. Now when I multiply here, we're going to have to multiply numbers and then just kind of stick the letters together because they're not the same letters. So we'll have like 5x squared y. And the only reason I rearranged there is because I want it to be alphabetical. And then when I multiply here, it's going to be negative 20y. When I multiply here, it's just going to be a 2 in front, and then I can add up exponents, so x to the fourth. And then when I multiply here, it's going to be negative 8, but just an x squared. When we multiply here, the x's will add, so x to the third, but then just y is chilling. And then we're just going to smash that on the end of that 4 because there's no letters to combine it with. On this one here, we're going to multiply, and so it's actually going to look like everything just smashes together on that first one. And I'm going to put it in alphabetical order. But on this one, I'm actually going to multiply those numbers, so positive 12, so plus 12, and then a y chilling at the end. Now here when I multiply, I do have like letters, so we can add those exponents up, so x to the fourth with a y just chilling. And then here, there's nothing to really multiply. It's just going to look like we smash everything together because this has no letters and this has no numbers. So negative 4x squared y. And then lastly, when I multiply here, the negative 4 is going to stay the same because there's no number, but the x's will combine for 3. And then when I multiply here, we'll multiply the numbers. So negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16, and x is just chilling. And what a fun little wheel. I'll see you on the next one.